All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Today, we have an incredible story to talk about. Of course, we have a video that we are going to be quoting. I have the transcript from a very eerie press conference that I don't see anybody talking about yet, and I'm sure this is going to change. Not only after this video, but I'm surprised more of my peers did not catch the words that are being said by this sheriff. As far as the sheriff, the meeting that he went to was a meeting at the FBI. Now, I know that everybody's going to have a crazy theory around this. Keep in mind what they are saying and what has been predicted over the last 5 years. This is really insane stuff. This was Sheriff Rick Jones, and we're going to show you a part of the video here, and then we're going to go over this. But first, let's bring in my co-host / internet brother, Dex James. What's going on, man, and how are you doing?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So, first of all, the context here is that Sheriff Rick Jones went with other sheriffs to D.C. and had a meeting and a briefing with FBI, and they went over these things. And a lot of things were talked about in this, very freaky. He's also said that the president is not communicating with any of the 3,300 sheriffs that are across the country or any of the police chiefs. Now, there's probably going to be a big fuss about that, as far as we're in a zone right now where people are talking about a civil conflict, about people invading. And now what this says is that there are more signs that is going to happen than there were before 2001. So, first of all, let's go over to our own website here. You can actually see the video is here. I'm just going to play a quick clip of this. Let me make sure that this is on. And yeah.
They're coming because they're wanting a country that are wanting to do harm to us. We were also explained we're
I'm going to fast forward here through.
Somebody asked me, am I like Doomsday Jones? And I said, no, I'm not like Chicken Little. I want you to know what I know. And if you don't believe what I'm telling you, that's okay. You can do what the Israeli citizens done. You can build a little safe house in your basement.
What he is essentially saying in this meeting, and I'll go over some of the details. We've highlighted everything really important about this. It says 2 days ago, we were briefed by FBI Director Wray and several federal agencies. There were 3,300 sheriffs in the United States. The President of the United States refuses to meet with the sheriffs. We have a hierarchy. We have a president. We have a vice president. The President of the United States refused to meet with the sheriffs and also refuses to meet with the police chiefs of the United States. We were also told by the FBI Director Wray that there were more red flags going off now than there were before 2001, which we all know what I'm talking about. And when he talks about flags, he means that people that are here in this country that are wanting to do harm to us, we were also explained that they are essentially attacking two countries right now, and these people do not like us. Before this started, there are thousands of people here from other countries, 160 different countries. They're not here to be our friends. It says we were also told 5 sheriffs went to Israel 5 weeks after the attack. The only thing that saved the Israelis, the government, was the local police. Now, I know everybody has their thoughts, but stick with us because this gets nuts. It says they were outgunned, outmanned, and the Palestinians came over and they did all sorts of horrible things. And I'm not going to repeat what he said. The sheriffs were there. They talked to the police. The local police are what saved the country. Now, translation, he's saying that when stuff is going on, all of this big stuff is going on, the people that ended up defending the actual neighborhoods were the police. Now, I know there's all sorts of debates about what happened, what is going on, all of this, or the lack thereof. But we have to think of this in the terms of what he is saying about here, about how we would end up being in a position. You'll see later what I'm talking about. It says the FBI director said when 2001 hit, there were more flags than now than then. So he said these are the people that want to take us out and do harm to us now. And it says they want the public to know that we are in a terrible way right now. even if they are just trying to gaslight these sheriffs into, being freaked out about this, you have to understand what they are actually saying is huge. The United States, we're on the defense. You can't just be on defense. You have to be on offense. We have no offense. We're just defense. We're absorbing these attacks. We're in the other countries. We're supplying them with weapons. We're supplying them with treasure, our money, and we're not doing much back home. So with that in mind, we were also told that that they are going to hit not only the day where we drop everything into a ballot box. They're not only going to try to hit that, they're already saying this, they are also going to hit them locally. So in each state that they are going to try to do something to stop that. Understand what has been said up until now over the last few years, some of the comments by some of the most well-known and hated people on the planet talking about how there will be no 2024 pick your prez kind of day. And it says that they encourage us to talk to our local officials to be prepared as much as they can for cyber attacks, even locally. It says, and then he tells the people, you have to be prepared. We've been told that again. They're coming here to do harm to us. And even in Ohio or in the United States, we're not going to be able to call and ask for help from the federal government. They're going to be busy. Now, this is a scenario we've talked about where we're in multiple fronts in a world conflict and something happens at home. The exact scenario that we've been talking about, which is now it's playing out like it's almost like this is a script and they're going to the next scene where you have chaos going inside of our country and chaos going on everywhere else. If our military is busy in every other country trying to defend 15 other countries, what is going to happen here? Well, we do have forces here. We're a hard country to take over. We're all armed. We have militias. We have all sorts of stuff. But we're talking about groups, as we've talked about over the last couple weeks. They may already have a army here. You're talking about inside the country already. We've all been talking about this for a long time now. Over 6.3 million people came in. It says somebody to ask me. You actually just heard this part. He says, now we're getting to where we've been attacked here in Butler County. You're going to think, well, we've never been attacked. We have. The Russians attacked our systems, our electronic system, our computer system. They hacked it. Now, this is on the same day. Later on the show, the next show, we're going to talk about China. They say that they have been in our critical infrastructure for 5 years, which, again, that's absolutely stupendously ridiculous. It says, as we speak of today, the Russians are still attacking our computer system and mind you, even if they're just telling him this, it's nuts. It says, Russians are still attacking our computer systems just like they're attacking most of yours. But I want the public to know this. The Chinese tried to attack our cyber system here in Butler County, which includes everything that we have dispatching for police and fire 5 times a day. I want to repeat that 5 times a day. Iranians are looking and attacking our computer system and trying to hack it 3 times a day. I want to repeat that 3 times a day. Now they're doing that to help us and to be our friends. No, they're not. They're trying to disrupt everything that they do. With this next day where we pick a prez coming up, they're going to try to do the same. So what we're doing here is we've got our rifles in every police vehicle we have. We have to do a go bag. This is, again, now they're saying they have go bags in every one of their cars. We have extra magazines, and we're going to start training civilians. They're telling, this is going step by step into exactly what we said was going to happen. Whether you think that this is Chicken Little stuff, or you think, hey, they are literally telling us what's about to happen. The resetting of the system, that is what they are talking about. It says we have to call in a go bag. We've offered classes to train civilians, and we're going to start training civilians on what to do when disasters hit and emergencies hit. Naturally, we can't train the whole country. We can't train the whole county. We put this thing up online yesterday. It's full already. We can do like 30 people at a time. So think about that. They can only train 30 people to really get any kind of substance. So this is a point that all of us preppers know. You got to get prepped on your own for all of this. It says, I don't want to cause fear. I don't want to cause panic, but I want the public to be aware that you are under attack. And when they're attacking, they're going to try to get our cyber system. We have a grid system. Butler County does, the whole United States. Hell, our grid system goes out when it gets hot. And our grid system is from the 1960s. They're trying to attack our phone systems. The Chinese are flying over with their balloons. That's not going to help us and help us do some weather direction and all. We're on the defense. We're absorbing this, and these other countries that are attacking us overseas, it's a lot of attacks. It says getting to drones, the technology local law enforcement has on drones, 0. We can fly drones. The most police departments and sheriff offices have drones. We can't detect drones. Hell, they look like a bird in the sky. We can't make a drone stop. We can't stop them. When you see football games on TV, the national football games, they call timeouts to stop the drones. Hell, my grandkids have drones. Everybody has drones. We have no technology. The federal government doesn't share any of the drone technology with us. Talking about the police service. So what he has hinted to here is that everybody and their mom has drones that can be equipped. We've seen it with UKR. Everybody who's a drone enthusiast knows you can lift up a freaking gallon of milk. If you can lift up a gallon of milk with a drone, you can absolutely lift something that could be made into an explosive. These could be utilized to turn into something bad. He's also saying there is no defense against this. It says, so what we're going to do is reaching out to the private industry, and we're going to see if they can get anything that can detect drones and how we can stop them. So they're already telling us part of this is going to be drones coming down. Mind you, we've covered China, that they have autonomous drone technology that actually has facial recognition getting put in. So it could even see the profile of every United States citizen if this ever happens, right? Dex, are you following along? I was going to say,
Yes.
There's a couple things that I wanted you to cover too. So are you right where we're at right now?
Absolutely. So he says now people that he's talking about going to the border. He says the people that are coming here to do us harm. And he says, I've been to the border 3 times. People are not just turning themselves in. They're actually called gotaways. And some of them are getting through with backpacks and packs. Now are they bringing groceries with them? We don't think so. We believe the ones that don't want to get caught, there's a reason for that. We believe there's a good, strong possibility they're bringing something here to cause us harm. If you believe that, China, and this is another one, China has safe houses in every state in the U.S. I'm going to repeat that one. That's pretty powerful. This is coming from that meeting with the FBI. China has safe houses in every state in the U.S. He goes on to say, you think that we don't have a border, speaking about Ohio. He goes, but we actually do. We're on the border of Canada. And what happens is the border security that they do have up there has been pulled off and sent south, a large portion of them, quite a few of them, to go to the southern border. So what happens when we do that, they have drugs and other things coming across the northern border. And he says people are coming across the water and land dramatic and in a significant fashion as he continues to talk. So then he goes on to say, he wants to do a couple of things specifically that he's asking for the representatives there in Ohio to do. Number one is he wants to set up a border security task force. Number two, he's asking the state to introduce legislation for full-time 24-hour-a-day cybersecurity, not part-time. And when he talks about part-time, they probably have a bunch of full-time IT guys, right? But they probably work an 8 to 5 job. So nobody's, they're not necessarily covering it 24/7. And again, he said they were getting hacked 5 times a day by one country, 3 times a day by another country. So, and this is just one county in America. This is happening all over America. And then third, he also wants to introduce legislation like they did in Texas, that if they pull over anyone from the state of Ohio and they're not legal to be there, that they can be detained and arrested. So, are you following along? You want the rest, Adam? Or you keep going?
Yeah, I know. Keep going. This next part's important.
Yeah. If you've ever, this is crazy. So it goes on to talk about speaking about what would happen in a grid down or a communications down or a cyber event. He goes, if you've ever lost your phone or your battery goes dead, everyone freaks out. Imagine you can't use your cell phone. Well, now again, they're getting into the cyber, and that's what they want our country. When you can't pump gas without electricity, you can't pump water without electricity. So they're doing this to us. So then he goes into the Q&A portion. And as we get, I think one of the really interesting questions was asked, specifically, he mentioned some conversations with the Butler County commissioners, and he shared with them what he learned in DC. He goes on to talk, and we're skipping over a big chunk of this, but the important part here is And we train for those mass bang bang events that are in schools. He goes, we train for that in a mall. But what we don't train for is multiple events and multiple attacks. In other words, he's insinuating that what he's been told to prepare for is that. Okay. And as a national, and this is important, the National Guard is not coming to your community to help you unless it's a flood or disaster. And you're on your own for about 7 days. And if you remember what happened back in 2001, which a lot of you don't, they were on their own. And the police is your last line of defense, police and fire. We're
And
training
how
right now.
how have we treated them? How have we treated them the
Oh,
last
yeah.
5 years?
Yeah, horribly. He goes on to talk about hazmat. We're training for hazmat right now. We're the police, and we've been training for hazmat. We have hazmat equipment. We belong to the Hamilton County Hazmat Team, and we're training for chemicals because we have people that are driving trucks in this community and all over the United States that don't even speak the language, native language. And they can get driver's license and they can't take a test. I don't know if they're here legally or not. Those are his words, his specific words. So those are some of the examples of what he is trying to put things out. And he also wants to talk about the preparedness. So he goes, they ask another question about what are the necessities people need to be prepared with. And he says, I'm going to tell you some basic things you need to do to prepare, just like when the power goes out or there's a tornado. They always tell you to keep enough food and water and supply. And it isn't doom and gloom, that it's common sense. Because you might want to look at that as far as your phones, if they're working. If you don't have electricity, they have batteries, but they're only good for so long. He then says you might want to look at solar charging devices, solar generators. We talk a lot about this here. He goes, you might want to look at some foods that you can get, that you can mix up. And like when you go camping or survival, again, talking about getting survival food, very important. He says, we're not to that point yet, but we need to be prepared. And I need you to look at it. And I need to, and this, he's talking to the community, right? He's telling everyone, I need you to, and most people would freak out without having a cell phone. And if you can't dispatch the police, or our towers are down and they're hacking our communication systems. I mean, I'm not making that up. They're trying to hack yours. He's getting very passionate at this point in the conversation. He goes, they want us to be in chaos, and they're trying to go after our local ballot picking days, as well as the national ones as well. So anyway, he goes, this is not, they talk about this at a national level, but they want you to feel it in the heartland. They really want to scare the hell out of you.
So, and by the way, there's going to be a good chunk of people that are going to say, oh, this is what we have seen build over 5 years. We knew that this was where it was going to go. And now that it's actually here, it's so wild that people are going to go, no, this can't be happening. People are going to have that sense where, oh, something like that, it never happens here in our quiet neighborhood. Nothing ever happens here. Or that couldn't happen here. I mean, look, we're in this quiet neighborhood. I can't believe it happened here. Nobody can believe that the bad things happen here. The describing of multiple events happening all at once, that's something that, again, would make 2001 look like chicken feed. The reason why Soleimani was taken out, our former president said that they struck him because they said that he was planning something alongside his right-hand man who survived that the two strikes. They were planning something that would make 2001 look like chicken feed. Now, if they were planning something bigger than 2001, and again, we all have our thoughts about 2001, if it is going to be visibly bigger than that, then that's going to take years to prep. Not to mention, they would wait for the most opportune time when, I don't know, China's lining up. It's almost like they were at a table saying, China's like, well, I got dibs on Taiwan. Russia's like, well, I want Ukraine. And North Korea's like, well, I would love to take the rest of South Korea back. And they're all being told, like, hey, if we get together, we can do this. Iran, of course, has their goals. You have Venezuela even putting out, hey, we should do a vote. Should we take Guyana? Why are they doing this right now? Why is it all happening at the same time? Is it all just a geopolitical mess and it's all just a big circus? Or is the actual circus going to change things physically for all of us for the rest of our lives? We know that the entire world can get on the same page for events that have happened in the last couple of years. Now imagine them getting on the same page under some very, very organized people at the very, very top that are trying to change the way that our lives work. We know for a fact that they would like to change almost everything you know as the previous, world. They want to change that into a completely different one, not only culturally, but physically, monetarily, everything else. So again, we've been telling you guys for years, if you do want to protect yourself against an EMP, which is also a possibility, highly recommend getting yourself protected. Or if you want to go marfooglenews.com/EMP, if you want a solar generator, I don't know why he's saying specifically solar generator, but again, probably because, like he said, there won't be electricity to pump gas. So he's specifically saying solar charging devices. He mentions this instead of a regular generator. And that's probably because if they were told that they're not going to have gas or running water and power are going to be two really, really big things. Go over to marfooglenews.com/energy, INERGY. It's one of the best solar generators out there. You're going to have to wait. These are in high demand and in low supply. They make each batch like they used to make appliances. So these things are built to last. In fact, the Army is part of the reason why civilians are, again, everybody is fighting over this. Energy is actually making the Flex Tactical for the U.S. Army. This just won the STTR Phase 2 contract and is heading out with the U.S. Army. This one has built-in heaters. It has got a steel frame, water-resistant, dust-resistant, and of course, it could fall off a truck with its 1,500-pound latches and stay together. It's expandable, and it is modular. You can change the features of it, and you can, of course, take it portably and get power from the sun. marfooglenews.com/energy. It helps support independent broadcasts like this, and it helps you save a whole lot of money, and it will get you prepared. As far as what's happening, am I surprised by what is being told? And again, I don't care who is saying it, because the point is, once you understand that even if they are gaslighting, they're gaslighting for most likely a real event, and they're setting up the framework for it. Dex, go ahead.
And I think the one other key thing I'm taking out of here, even if you think that the agency's gaslighting them, one thing that they're going to be looking at is the drones. And if he was hyper focused on that, and he's also referencing the fact that they were doing that and using that overseas, that the FBI must be telling them they need to start thinking about how they're going to prepare for that. And those are easy to come across in a backpack. I mean, they're very tiny, very small, and they can carry a pretty big payload.
Highly recommend watching the full video. You can see it right on our website, along with the full bibliography for today's show. We're going to port you over to Marfoogle TV if you're still in the chat. If you want to hang out with us, you can find it there. And of course, you can find today's show over on marfooglenews.com. Just look for today's thumbnail. Of course, just feel free to click on the website. Intel Sheriff Insiders reveal FBI meeting details and get prepared. Thank you, Dex. Appreciate you.
Much love. Great job, brother.
All I really wanted was truth. I would never ask anything of you. All I really